Have you ever stood up from your favorite armchair, felt a sudden, terrifying wave of dizziness wash over you, and wondered if this is just what getting older is supposed to feel like? Or maybe you have noticed your grip strength fading, finding it harder to open jars you used to pop off without a second thought. You have been a good patient. You have dutifully thrown away the salt shaker, chewed through plain, tasteless meals, and followed every piece of strict, heart-healthy dietary advice given to you decades ago. But what if the very low-sodium diet meant to protect your heart in your 50s is the exact thing making your body frail, fragile, and fatigued in your 70s? Hello, my friend. Take a seat, grab a warm cup of coffee or tea, and let us talk. Today, we are opening up a topic that is so often ignored by mainstream advice. Welcome back to the Banned Knowledge Vault, where we look past conventional wisdom to uncover the raw, science-backed truths about your health. I know how deeply frustrating it is to follow all the rules, to sacrifice the foods you love, and still feel your energy slipping away, your muscles aching, and your balance betraying you. You might be caught in what we call the low-sodium trap. It is a hidden, insidious culprit behind so many seniors prematurely losing their independence. But do not worry. Today, we are going to walk through exactly why this happens, how to recognize the biological signs, and most importantly, how to fix it safely and naturally. Before we dive into the fascinating science of salt, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to our channel so you never miss out on the kind of vital senior health tips that conventional medicine often overlooks. Also, drop a quick comment below. Where are you watching from today? I love seeing how far our community reaches. Let us get started. The very first thing we need to address on our journey today is the great myth of universal extreme salt restriction. For years, you have been told that sodium is the ultimate undeniable enemy of blood pressure. But the truth is, treating salt like a literal poison can completely stall your body's engine. You see, a landmark massive study published in The Lancet in 2018 followed over 90,000 people and discovered something that shocked the medical community. They found that severe sodium restriction actually increased the risk of cardiovascular events, whereas a moderate sodium intake was associated with the lowest risk of heart issues and overall mortality. Think of your body's cardiovascular system not as a rigid, unyielding pipe, but as a complex, fluid-driven engine. If you drain all the oil out of a car's engine to prevent a theoretical leak, the entire machine seizes up, overheats, and breaks down completely. When you strip your diet of all salt, your blood volume drops significantly, making your heart work incredibly hard just to pump a diminished supply of blood to your brain and extremities. It is no wonder you feel exhausted and out of breath after a simple walk to the mailbox. The practical takeaway here is not to rush out and start eating heavily processed fast food, but rather to stop fearing the salt shaker at your own dinner table. Swap out the boxed, highly processed meals, which are full of refined, dangerous sodium and chemical preservatives, and instead confidently sprinkle a high-quality, mineral-rich salt on your wholesome, home-cooked meals. Moving along to our second revelation, we absolutely have to talk about the terrifying connection between a lack of dietary salt and the risk of taking a bad fall. One of the greatest, most devastating fears as we get older is falling and breaking a hip or a wrist, an event that can permanently steal your independence and alter the course of your life. You might naturally blame your aging knees, a loss of flexibility, or your changing vision. But the real culprit could be a stealthy condition called mild hyponatremia, which is simply chronically low sodium in your bloodstream. According to a comprehensive 2019 study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, seniors with even mildly low sodium levels were found to have a staggering 30% higher risk of falls and bone fractures compared to those with normal electrolyte levels. Imagine trying to walk across the wet, pitching deck of a ship during a violent storm. That is essentially what your nervous system is experiencing when it lacks the conductive electrolytes required to accurately tell your feet where the floor is. Sodium is the literal electrical currency of your brain and nerves. When it is depleted, your reaction times slow to a crawl, your spatial balance falters, and a tiny, harmless stumble becomes a catastrophic, life-changing fall. To protect yourself and reclaim your center of gravity, consider starting your morning by drinking a tall glass of fresh water with just a pinch of real sea salt or a high-quality, sugar-free electrolyte powder. This remarkably simple morning habit rehydrates your blood volume after a long night of sleep and gives your nervous system the immediate, vital electrical charge it needs to keep you steady, confident, and balanced on your feet all day long. Our third critical piece of the puzzle involves your physical muscles, specifically why they might feel like they are practically melting away despite your very best efforts to stay active and mobile. Muscle wasting, clinically known as sarcopenia, is almost always chalked up to simple, unavoidable aging. But severe sodium restriction aggressively and relentlessly accelerates this loss of precious strength. Every single time you want to stand up from a chair, lift a growing grandchild into your arms, or carry heavy groceries up the front steps, your brain sends a rapid electrical signal down your spinal cord to your muscles, instructing them to contract. This beautiful electrical signal is entirely dependent on the presence of sodium. A fascinating, in-depth study detailed in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated clearly that inadequate dietary sodium and chloride directly impairs muscle contractile function at the cellular level, leading to profound physical weakness and surprisingly early fatigue. Picture a beautifully crafted marionette puppet where the strings have slowly become frayed, stretched, and loose. No matter how hard the master puppeteer pulls and tugs, the puppet can barely stand up straight, let alone dance. That is exactly your muscular system operating on a depleted, low-sodium diet. It truly does not matter how many protein shakes you drink or how much lean meat you eat if your underlying nerves cannot effectively command your muscle fibers to fire. The highly actionable advice here is to make absolute certain that your healthy protein sources are properly and sufficiently seasoned. When you grill a beautiful piece of salmon, roast a chicken breast, or boil a few fresh eggs for breakfast, please do not leave them plain and sad. A healthy, mindful dusting of salt not only makes the food palatable enough for you to actually want to eat it and enjoy it, but it also fundamentally ensures that your muscles have the biochemical, electrical tools necessary to absorb those vital nutrients and maintain your hard-earned physical strength. I know we are covering a tremendous amount of ground today, and I completely understand that it can feel incredibly overwhelming to realize that the dietary advice you have trusted for decades might need a serious, immediate update. If you are finding these insights helpful and illuminating so far, please take just a second to give this video a quick thumbs up. It genuinely helps our channel reach more people who might be sitting at home, struggling with the exact same invisible fatigue, wondering what they are doing wrong. Let us smoothly transition to our fourth vital point, which is the undeniable, powerful link between a low-salt diet and the sudden, frightening arrival of brain fog, mental confusion, or daily memory slips. It is an absolutely heartbreaking experience to walk confidently into a room and completely forget why you are there, or to struggle endlessly to find the right, simple word in a conversation with a beloved family member. Many seniors quietly and anxiously worry that this cognitive slipping is the dark beginning of dementia or Alzheimer's. However, we must remember that your brain is by far the most electrically active and demanding organ in your entire body, and it consumes massive, continuous amounts of sodium just to fire its basic neurotransmitters. A critical, eye-opening paper from the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology revealed that chronic low-grade hyponatremia is significantly associated with severe cognitive impairment, perfectly mimicking the early, terrifying stages of dementia in elderly patients. Imagine a vibrant, brilliantly bright light bulb connected to a wall dimmer switch. A restrictive, low-sodium diet slowly but surely turns that dimmer switch down, 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 until the room is left in a frustrating, hazy, unreadable twilight. Your brilliant brain is not necessarily deteriorating. It is simply starved of its primary, essential electrical conductor. The fix for this cognitive dimming is wonderfully simple, deeply reassuring, and delicious. We need to pair your daily, brain-boosting foods with the right conductive minerals. When you steam your dark leafy greens, broccoli, or asparagus, which are absolutely packed full of vital antioxidants, toss them in a generous pour of extra virgin olive oil and season them heartily with real salt. The healthy fats protect your fragile brain cells, and the sodium provides the brilliant, energetic spark needed to keep your precious memory sharp, your focus locked in, and your daily thoughts crystal clear. Our fifth hidden danger of the low-sodium trap is something that might sound entirely, confusingly unrelated to salt at first glance: skyrocketing blood sugar and stubborn insulin resistance. You might be watching your daily sugar and carbohydrate intake like a hawk to avoid the looming threat of type 2 diabetes. But actively avoiding salt could be secretly working against your best efforts. When you drastically cut sodium from your meals, your body immediately goes into a frantic biological panic state, releasing a massive cascade of stress hormones like aldosterone and noradrenaline in a desperate attempt to preserve whatever tiny amount of sodium is left in your system. A rigorous, tightly controlled study published in the respected medical journal Metabolism found that completely healthy subjects placed on a strict low-sodium diet developed measurable, significant insulin resistance in just 7 short days. It is exactly as if the tiny, vital locks on the outside of your body's cells have become totally rusted shut overnight. The insulin is the eager key trying to get the dangerous sugar out of your blood and safely into the cells for energy. But because of the harsh stress hormones triggered by the great sodium panic, the key will simply no longer turn the lock. The sugar stays trapped in your bloodstream, slowly damaging your fragile vessels and leaving you feeling totally exhausted and lethargic immediately after meals. To effectively combat this hidden metabolic chaos, you need to firmly stop eating naked, unseasoned carbohydrates. If you are having a warm piece of whole grain toast, half of a baked sweet potato, or a comforting bowl of morning oatmeal, make absolutely sure it is accompanied by a rich source of healthy fat, a solid bit of protein, and a highly appropriate, flavorful amount of salt. This specific, intentional combination beautifully stabilizes the hormonal stress response in your body, allowing your insulin to do its important job smoothly and naturally, thereby keeping your physical and mental energy levels perfectly steady throughout the entire long afternoon. Finally, we arrive at our sixth and perhaps most structural point, which concerns the literal, physical foundation of your entire body: your bones. Osteoporosis, osteopenia, and generally brittle bones are a massive, looming concern as we navigate our senior years. We are constantly told by every magazine and doctor to take our calcium pills and get our vitamin D. But almost no one mentions the dark secret that extreme sodium restriction can actually leach those exact minerals directly out of your skeleton. When your circulating blood sodium levels drop dangerously low due to a bland diet, your body desperately searches for emergency physiological reserves to keep your heart beating. A major, highly concerning study published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research established definitively that severe hyponatremia acts as a powerful catalyst for rapid bone demineralization, as the body literally breaks down its own bone tissue to release trapped emergency sodium, selfishly pulling crucial calcium and magnesium out of the bone matrix right along with it. It is exactly like watching the sturdy, reliable steel scaffolding of a tall, magnificent building slowly dissolve into fine dust from the inside out. Outwardly, the building looks exactly the same, but one strong, unexpected gust of wind will bring the entire structure crashing down to the earth. We must protect your beautiful scaffolding at all costs. The absolute best way to do this is to immediately upgrade the specific type of salt you are using in your kitchen. Throw away the bleached, heavily refined, bright white table salt that is packed with unnatural anti-caking agents. Instead, proudly invest in a high-quality, unrefined salt like damp Celtic sea salt or rich pink Himalayan salt. These beautiful, unrefined salts contain vital trace amounts of magnesium, potassium, and calcium that are naturally bound to the sodium crystals. By consciously using these living salts on your daily meals, you are not only satisfying your body's desperate natural sodium requirement, but you are actively delivering a full, healing spectrum of trace minerals directly back into your bones where they rightfully belong. We have journeyed together through a massive amount of complex, eye-opening science today, but I want to make absolutely sure that you walk away from this video feeling totally empowered, capable, and ready, not confused or fearful. Let us do a quick, simple recap of the tremendous, life-changing benefits you can expect by making these easy dietary adjustments. By bravely abandoning the extreme low-sodium trap and happily embracing a moderate, healthy, mineral-rich salt intake, you are going to fiercely protect your heart by maintaining proper, healthy blood volume. You will finally steady your feet and drastically reduce your terrifying risk of falls by supercharging your nervous system's electrical grid. You will beautifully preserve your lean muscle mass so you can continue to lift, walk, and move through the world with total independence. You will clear away that terrifying, hazy brain fog by giving your brilliant mind the electrical currency it constantly craves. You will successfully stabilize your swinging blood sugar by calming your body's panicked hormonal stress response. And finally, you will securely lock the vital calcium back into your skeletal system to keep your physical foundation strong, resilient, and unbreakable. I want you to look right at me and hear this clearly. You are not destined to simply fade away into the background. Aging absolutely does not have to mean a slow, miserable, inevitable slide into frailty, pain, and total dependence on others. You have so much brilliant control over your own health, and sometimes the most profound healing changes come simply from unlearning outdated blanket advice and finally tuning in to what your remarkable body is actually begging you for. Knowledge truly is power, and fearlessly applying that knowledge gives you the beautiful freedom to live your golden years with the unmatched vigor, mental clarity, and deep joy you absolutely deserve. I would love to hear from you right now. Which of these 6 specific hidden signs of the low-sodium trap resonated with you the most today? Tell me your unique story in the comments below. We read every single one. And please, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because your long-term health, your daily vitality, and your precious independence are absolutely worth fighting for every single day. Remember, your body is endlessly resilient, your mind is remarkably sharp, and every single meal you eat is a brand new opportunity to heal yourself from the inside out. Stay strong, stay endlessly curious, and I will see you in our next video.